Continuing on our 2x2 series where we compare each of the major arcana on the Tree of Life to its partner card on the Tree of Knowledge. We'll begin with just a little bit of a review to what we talked about last week. We were talking about the Sun card and its aspect, strength. Oh, Josh, you want the... And Cobalt had a question.
Last week.
He suggests, this was last week, that we take it with a grain of salt. He noticed that the Sun card isn't always seen as positive, and he wanted to look at that angle. And I think it's interesting because when you look at the Sun card, it does appear joyous and non-threatening. But I think Cobalt did touch on something, that this is an aspect of strength. And strength is something that really can't be triumphed over. If you're on the side of strength, it's always a good card. If strength is your adversary, it's quite possible that you're going to be defeated. Cobalt notices that the Sun is not always positive, and although we don't like to use the words positive and negative or good and bad in Kabbalah or Tarot, we can still say that the Sun card and the Strength card are on the side of severity or cleanse. This is what the wall is here. There's an area where things are kept out, and inside that area things are protected and kept in. My first thought is that the Sun pick seems so glorious. And I am interested in how this card is seen as not positive. The only way I can see the Sun card and its aspect strength as being not positive is if you are working against it. And in that way, strength is a bit like a steamroller. If we are aligned with strength, we grow, we survive. If you are against strength, unlike the story of David and Goliath, you'll usually be flattened. And we see that in the Five of Swords. This is a lesson in maintaining grace in the face of defeat. If the Strength card applies to us, we are empowered. If the Strength card refers to an obstacle or opponent, you cannot overcome it, and you must work through cooperation and partnership. I think part of the secret of the Sun card is the wall, and it has two parts to it. One is do not enter. The Sun has the power to keep you out. Remember, it's on the left side. This is not a card of inclusion. This is a card on keeping things out. And the other aspect of the wall is, imagine the child riding that great horse who is the incarnation of strength, saying, I can only protect you here inside the walls. Beyond the wall is shadow, which is the antithesis of the Sun. The suggestion here is you are on your own if you leave my area. And I think perhaps that can be seen as the stern side of the Sun card, in that it is a strength that can overpower anything that comes against it. Today we're going to move on to the Judgment card. The Judgment card we saw first as the Hermit on the Tree of Life. We've moved now to the Tree of Knowledge, and the altar image of the Hermit is Judgment. The 20th card of the major arcana is Judgment. Just as a note, this card is not at all like the Justice card, number 11. Those are two totally different things. It is only the names that sound similar. The Judgment card is about awakening. Specifically, it is about the realization that we are all in some mysterious way connected to each other. And Kabbalistically, when you see someone else, you are actually seeing an aspect of yourself, and how you treat that person is an indication of how you feel about yourself. We're going to take a look at a description of the card. Against a blue sky, a winged angel emerges above gray clouds. She bears a song of summons from a golden trumpet that flies a flag with a crimson cross. Below her is a lake or sea with icy mountains in the distance. Stone coffins float on the waters, and naked people rise up with arms stretched up and out in welcoming joy. This card is on the Tree of Knowledge and is a progression from its partner on the Tree of Life. On the Tree of Life, we see the Hermit. He is a beckoning glimmer of light looking down from an icy height. When you encountered the Hermit, it was a solitary thing, an achievement of the individual. It was a personal revelation that you could be better and feel happier. It seemed at the time that you discovered the Hermit, or that he chose you. We move now to the other side of the Hermit. Rather than this glimmer of light beckoning only you, it seems that this is a clarion sound of a trumpet awakening everybody. An awakening we're going to see more and more is sort of a one-word description of this card. Now in the Judgment card, you are part of a crowd who've discovered the angel and suddenly feel free. You happily cast off what you used to feel was important. It is like a shared discovery where everyone is awakened. In a sense, judgment is about moving on from the past. And that is at the heart of this, the change from the past to the present. However, because it is like an awakening, we do not mourn the loss of what was or how we used to be. The awakening in this card does not come with regret. It comes with a feeling of freedom, as we no longer feel bound what we used to think of as important or necessary. One of the central themes of Kabbalah is the concept that our communal soul was shattered into millions of broken shards. Each shard contains a spark of the divine whole. Our job as evolved humans is to see the us in them, and in so doing, reunite the sparks. In a sense, the Judgment card is about this realization. In fact, our acceptance, support, and empathy with others is really the only hope for human evolution and salvation. It is the illusion that we are different and separate from everyone else that creates the tension, cruelty, and wars in this world. It is the movement from the solitary wisdom of the hermit to the communal wisdom of the society. The Judgment card can signal a huge transformation as we realize that what happens to them happens to us. The individual realizes that I am them and they are me. And of course, this is a difficult thing for any of us to imagine, because we're so used to preserving our privacy and safety against the multitudes out there, that the Judgment card is the realization that we are all part of the same struggle. And I made a note that this is a card of realization, not necessarily action. Again, not every tarot card is like a fortune cookie giving advice. This is a more holistic idea of a change in your belief system. As we begin to see aspects of ourselves and others, we can remember two very popular sayings that suggest this movement from the Hermit to Judgment. The first one is, "There but for the grace of God go I." And we can always recognize in even the most despicable of people that had you been pushed onto a different road, you could be an aspect of that person. We're all vulnerable to the vagaries of life. The other one is, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." These aren't just corny sayings, they make sense as we move past our ego and the illusion that we are solitary. The Judgment card is not about a goal you have to force yourself towards. Despite a somewhat scary name, Judgment, Judgment is about discovering a more inclusive mindset. This is a gentle development of our minds and our emotions, and it is an internal thing. We will see there are other kinds of life-changing discoveries, the altering of dearly held beliefs that can come with a shock or a feeling of loss. The Judgment card comes with a feeling of relief, the feeling the veil is lifted and the bonds have been released. We can see in the Temperance card elements of Judgment when we compare the two. The Temperance card, in the Temperance card, the angel is actually an alchemist who creates something new from the parts of what was. Judgment is a form of temperance. The forces within you are realigned through new knowledge to bring about a new awareness and new beliefs. It is, in fact, a way of tempering our emotions. We can also see in the Lover's card the aspect of the angel. And in a sense, the Lover's card is also an aspect of Judgment. You can see the two cards here. And they do combine into a theme. The Lover's card is also an aspect of Judgment. It is the same angel with same wings and fiery hair. In the Lover's card, an individual becomes a partnership. And in Judgment, we can see the change.
Center.
Is it more centered?
Yeah.
Okay. And in the Lover's card, we can see the change from one to two people. And in the Judgment card, we can see the change from being just selfish to seeing others as aspects of ourselves and being more inclusive. Judgment is an awakening to the inescapable fact that we all affect each other. Like it or not, we are all indirect partners. We'll see an aspect of the Judgment card as well in the Tower. And I just briefly mentioned that. In the Tower card, our old beliefs, not just vague ideas, the things we held to be true, prove not to be true or to be inconclusive or just partly true. And it kind of shakes up our world a little bit. It's like some of the truths that we held dear aren't there anymore, and we can feel bereft, we can feel abandoned, we can feel empty. The Judgment card is different. As I mentioned, there is a feeling of relief and awareness and awakening, even though some of your past ideas aren't held to be true anymore. In the Tower card, people feel lost and destroyed. In the Judgment card, the feelings are relief and companionship. The loss of a previous mindset is replaced with a kind of benevolent wisdom. And that's it for Judgment. This is a welcome opening up of the mind and an inclusion of some things that you might have held at arm's length before. Okay, Joss, should we take a look at some questions?
Yeah, the Judgment has a scary sound. Should we fear the Judgment card?
No, the feeling of this card is positive. Unlike the feeling of loss, the feeling that all my life I have worked on these ideas and suppositions, and now I find they're not true. What am I going to do now? It's a feeling of loss and emptiness. In Judgment, you feel as though a veil has been lifted. Loneliness does not oppress you anymore. You are less bothered by annoying people because you see aspects of others in yourself. So it's not a scary card.
What does the symbol on the flag mean?
Although there are Christian symbols in the tarot cards, this is not a crucifix. It is a cross that represents balance. Judgment is on the middle pillar, the path of mildness between the pillars of severity and mercy. And that's a recurring theme in Kabbalah and tarot cards, the idea of balance being between the two extremes.
What are the icy mountains in the background?
In the tarot cards, an icy area is not a destination. It's just a place that is of no importance and no use to you. In the Hermit card, he stands on an icy area. But it's not a destination, as we mentioned. This suggests it is his presence, not the place, that is important. In the Judgment card, the awakening is connection with people, not places.
Why does the angel have flaming hair?
Well, we can see the flaming hair in Judgment. Let's see what else. In Temperance, we can see, although it's not flaming, it is the solar disk and the sun symbol. And when we look at the Lover's card, again, we see the flaming hair of the angel. Her hair becomes flames, maybe when she unites people. And we can see in the two cases of uniting people, the hair is on fire. Although in this other one, her hair is not on fire, her symbol is in a sense fire because it represents the sun. That's the best I can do with that one.
Is the Hermit the same person as the angel in the Judgment card?
Is the Hermit the same person as the angels in Judgment? To me, they seem like opposites. They're showing us the positive and the negative so we can see all aspects. I see one as the antithesis of the other. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. The Hermit secludes himself, which is an aspect that exists in all of us. The angel of Judgment reunites people.
What real life experience would be an example of the Judgment card?
I think that there are many when you're able to cast off a belief that maybe was hampering or even imprisoning you. As an example, imagine somebody who is paranoid and believes everybody is trying to rob them, and they watch the news and perhaps they've been mugged or had things disappear and blame robbery, and this is an enduring part of their mind. They live a solitary life, They won't go out at night. They have bars on the windows and multiple locks on doors. There are security cameras everywhere. So this is a person who has the belief that strangers are out to deprive him of what he owns. But one day a neighbor returns a lost wallet of his with all the money still in it. He bakes cookies to reward the neighbor. And he begins to see himself as part of a community. He starts to see the people around him as part of his own personal safety. And this is a welcoming awakening, as he is no longer paranoid. He no longer constantly fears robbery, and he begins to enjoy the security of the company of his neighbors. And I think we've covered the card for today.
Gorang Verma says hello.
Hi, Graham. Okay, thank you for tuning in. And we reached the end of the Tree of Knowledge tomorrow as we drop down into Malkuth, which is our world. And we saw the World card, and we're going to be looking at the Wheel of Fortune card as well. But that's it for today, for Judgment. We'll see you next week.